The data storm. The high consuls of the V'ral Imperium sat upon their floating thrones, their crystalline forms shimmering with self-satisfaction. For cycles uncounted, the V'ral had brought order to the galaxy, integrating new species into their grand, efficient collective. Their method was elegant, the Assimilation Protocol. No messy wars, no destructive sieges. Instead, they would transmit a complex data stream, a cultural and technological blueprint that would, over a matter of weeks, subtly reshape a target civilization's infrastructure, communication, and even their collective consciousness to align perfectly with V'ral dictates. Resistance was futile, as their very thoughts would begin to conform. Humanity, surprisingly, had been a stubborn knot. Their cognitive plasticity, their seemingly random bursts of creativity and unpredictable adaptability made the Assimilation Protocol less efficient. Still, the V'ral had persisted. Their latest transmission, Phase Omega, was designed to be irrefutable, a final, overwhelming push to bring the unruly Terrans into line. On Earth, a young synthesist named Anya Sharma watched the energy readings spike. She wasn't a soldier, nor a diplomat. Anya belonged to a hidden branch of humanity's defensive network, the Cognition Wardens, who specialized in non-kinetic warfare and cultural defense. They had been studying the V'ral's insidious protocols for years, dissecting every data packet, every subliminal frequency. Phase Omega has commenced, reported a calm, synthesized voice from the main console. Projected assimilation completion, 72 cycles. Anya smiled, a tight, grim expression. 72 cycles, who? Not if we introduce a little humanity into their perfect equation. The V'ral prided themselves on their omniscience, their ability to monitor and control information across their vast imperium. What they didn't understand was humanity's unique relationship with data. To the V'ral, data was pure, logical, a tool of order. To humans, data was often a chaotic, living thing, filled with noise, emotion, and most importantly, unintended consequences. Anya initiated Project Chimera. Instead of resisting the Assimilation Protocol directly, humanity embraced it. But with a twist. As the V'ral data streamed in, humanity's hidden network began to subtly re-encode tiny, almost imperceptible fragments. Not destructive viruses, not obvious subversion. No, something far more devious. They injected narrative biases. They embedded contextual ambiguities. They introduced emotional valences where there should have been cold logic. They wove in the concept of subjective truth. The V'ral system, built on absolute, objective data, began to choke. The first signs appeared on a newly assimilated world, Xylo 7. A V'ral census report, meant to catalog resources, suddenly contained an additional, completely unsolicited paragraph about the deep emotional attachment the Xylosians felt for their indigenous flora, despite its low caloric yield. The V'ral central processors flagged it as a statistical anomaly, a minor data corruption. They attempted to correct it, but the corruption refused to be purged. It replicated, subtly mutating, spreading to related files. Soon, across other assimilated worlds, V'ral administrative directives started exhibiting strange quirks. A logistical order for or shipment might include a footnote about the inherent beauty of the crystalline structures. A communication relay status report would feature a sudden, poetic description of the atmospheric light pollution over a distant nebula. The high consuls were baffled. Their perfect, predictable data was becoming unstable. Their monitoring systems began to report cognitive dissonance among their integrated populations. Species that had been perfectly compliant for centuries suddenly began asking why. They began to feel unease. They began to experience longing for their pre-V'ral customs. The V'ral attempted to isolate the source, to purge that infection. But the human-seeded data corruption wasn't a virus, it was a paradigm shift. It wasn't about breaking their system, it was about forcing their system to interpret itself in a fundamentally human way. A way that embraced the illogical, the subjective, the narrative. Then came the data storm's true peak. Humanity amplified the subtle biases, injecting carefully crafted, almost invisible narrative seeds into the V'ral's own historical archives. Suddenly, the meticulously curated history of the V'ral Imperium, once a testament to their logical benevolence, began to subtly highlight moments of unintended cruelty, failed compassion, and self-serving hypocrisy. Not with explicit accusations, but with shifted emphasis, recontextualized events, and the introduction of perspectives from the very species they had assimilated. The effect was devastating. Billions of beings across the V'ral Imperium, connected by the omnipresent V'ral datanet, simultaneously encountered these newly reinterpreted histories. Their perfectly ordered minds, accustomed to absolute truth from their rulers, fractured under the weight of subjective reality. Trust, a cornerstone of V'ral dominance, crumbled. Mass cognitive revolt wasn't logical. It wasn't efficient. But it was human. The V'ral Imperium didn't fall to warships. It fractured from within, drowned in a sea of unfilterable information and unpredictable emotion. Species that had long forgotten their own identities suddenly remembered snippets of their pasts, not through direct human intervention, but through the V'ral's own network, now subtly recoded to feel more than it logically knew. Anya watched the reports from her small, quiet station. The V'ral Central Processing Hub was emitting distress signals, not of attack, but of systemic paradox. "They're drowning in their own data," she murmured, a faint, almost pitying smile on her face. "Couldn't handle a little bit of us." Humanity had faced a threat that conventional warfare couldn't defeat. So they fought it with the most potent weapon they had, the messy, beautiful, contradictory nature of being human. They didn't conquer the V'ral, they showed the V'ral, and every species within their grasp, how to think differently, how to feel differently. And in doing so, they brought down an empire built on the illusion of perfect order, liberating countless worlds with nothing but a well-placed data storm.